Once upon a time in a village there was a huge jungle. The jungle was full of various kinds of exotic plants and animals. The trees were so dense that the sunlight couldn't reach the ground. The thick undergrowth made it difficult to pass through. But the villagers had no fear in their hearts. They knew every inch of the jungle. They knew where a tiger might be lurking or where a venomous snake might be hiding. They had a deep connection with the jungle and its inhabitants. One day, a young boy decided to venture into the jungle. He wanted to see what lay beyond the familiar trees near his home. He had heard stories about the jungle from the villagers, but he didn't know much about it. He just knew that it was full of adventure and excitement. So he took a deep breath, grabbed a stick, and walked into the jungle. He was amazed by the beauty of the jungle. He had never seen so many different kinds of trees and plants before, and the sound of birds and insects was like music to his ears. He walked deeper and deeper into the jungle until he came across a clearing. In the middle of the clearing was a small cottage made out of twigs and leaves, and sitting on the porch of the cottage was an old woman. The boy was scared at first, but then he remembered what his father had told him. "If you ever get lost in the jungle, look for the cottage of the jungle woman. She will help you." So the boy walked up to the cottage and knocked on the door. The old woman opened the door and smiled at the boy. She invited him in for some tea and snacks. As the boy sat on the porch sipping his tea, he noticed that the old woman had a staff made out of a thick vine. He asked her if it was magic staff, and the old woman said yes. She told the boy that she was the jungle woman and that she was very powerful. She could control the animals of the jungle and she could heal the sick and wounded. The boy was in awe, and he asked if he could stay with the old woman and learn about the jungle. She agreed, and the boy became her apprentice. He learned how to track animals and how to identify different types of plants. He learned how to make medicine from herbs and how to communicate with animals. He spent many happy years learning from the jungle woman. One day, the boy decided to go back to his village. He had learned a lot from the jungle woman, but he missed his family and friends. He said goodbye to the jungle woman and started walking towards the village. But after a few days, he realized that he had forgotten the way. No matter how much he walked, he couldn't find the village. He was scared and hungry. But then he remembered what the jungle woman had taught him. When you are lost, make a whistle and the animals will help you. So he made a whistle out of a twig and started walking. Soon, he heard the sound of drums and followed the sound to a clearing. There, he saw a group of monkeys. He whistled and the monkeys gathered around him. He remembered what the jungle woman had told him. If you whistle 3 times, the monkeys will take you to the village. So he whistled 3 times and the monkeys started running. They ran through the trees and over the bushes, and soon they stopped in front of a familiar house. It was the house of his parents. The boy was so happy that he hugged his mother and father. When they heard that he had been lost in the jungle for 5 years, they were very worried. But when they saw that he hadn't aged a bit, they were shocked. The boy told them all about his adventures in the jungle, about the jungle woman and the talking animals. His parents didn't believe him at first, but when they saw the staff that he brought with him, they knew that it was true. From that day on, the boy lived with his family. But he never forgot the jungle woman or the animals who had helped him. He often went back to visit them, and he continued to learn about the jungle. He became a wise man, and everyone in the village respected him.